What if I told you that one simple thing could make college easier for all of us? The things we're going to discuss today, I've put into practice and I've experienced the benefits myself. We're all college students. We've all felt the struggle of finals and balancing assignments and trying to do well in class. I'm sure we'd all like to find a way to make college a little bit easier. Today, I'm going to show you how dedicating time to reading has impacted my college experience and has proven to positively affect all students. Flashback to 2019, I was a freshman in college. I was nervous. I hadn't been in college or any kind of school for about 3 years since I graduated in 2016. Obviously pretty anxious but excited because school had always been something that came naturally to me. I never struggled too much in high school or middle school, but to my surprise, I kind of got my butt kicked when I got into college. I was failing classes, I was dealing with a lot of anxiety, and there was a lot of mental blocks that I was experiencing as well. So I was really confused, didn't understand what was happening, so I was kind of looking at how my life had changed since high school and what it was that was making college so difficult. And I realized the biggest thing that changed for me was reading. I always loved reading when I was growing up. I read all of the Harry Potter books when I was in elementary school. I was always an avid reader. But for some reason after high school, it kind of fell off. I lost the habits. And it really came back to bite me in the butt when I was in college. I really felt the negative side effects of not reading as much, but I didn't quite understand why it affected my grades the way that it did. So I asked myself, how is it that reading impacts failure and success academically so much? Like I mentioned, this is something I always enjoyed. I always just kind of did. So I never thought that reading so positively affected my schooling until I stopped reading and I saw it negatively affect. So I asked myself at the end of last semester, what was it about reading that has impacted me so much and why has it affected me so much? I specifically was asking myself last semester because I had just finished reading this series, the Throne of Glass series. As I'm sure you can tell, it's a bit of a hefty book, and there's 7 books in the series, so it literally took me a year to read this whole series. But when I started this, I was 2 or 3 books into this series. I had just finished a semester of school, and that was the best semester that I'd had so far. So I really started to see the effects of reading. I kind of took a step back and I looked at my last couple semesters and I was wondering what changed in my life that gave me the ability to do so well in school, and it was just reading. And if my experience isn't enough to show you how I was failing classes before I started reading, and then that semester I had all A's and B's, there's plenty of research to back it up as well. According to scholastic.com, quote, "Books grow brain cells. Struggling readers have fewer cells in some regions, but a study found that after 6 months of daily reading, the weak spots beefed up so much that kids' brains looked the same as those of kids with stronger reading skills." We can also find an explanation at Cam Everland's primary school, quote, "Children have to sit still and quietly so they can focus on the story when they are reading. If they read often, they will develop the skill to do this for longer." And lastly, we find an explanation at Children Educational Services, quote, "Reading exercises our brain. Reading strengthens brain connections and actually builds new connections." So now, I know all of these quotes talk about children education, but the biggest reason that this is emphasized when we're in elementary school and middle school is to build that foundation for us so we can have a better attention span, we can exercise those parts of our brain, and we can literally grow brain cells. So losing these habits as we get older and not reading when we're in college just doesn't make sense. While all of these answers have different things that they focus on, they have the same common theme. If we read more, our brain will be stronger and we'll be able to do better academically. So just like my story, if we all set aside some time, we can truly see school go from something that's difficult, something that we struggle through, to something that comes a little more naturally, because reading, we're exercising our brain, taking tests and going to school, we're exercising our brain. So it's just muscle memory if we can work it in. So asking again how reading impacts our academic failure or success gives us the ability to focus more. quite literally grows brain cells and gives our brain the exercise that it needs. So when we're taking tests, this is something that we're used to. So in conclusion, I'd like to challenge you all to embrace your inner bookworm, find something you enjoy reading, stay consistent with it, and see the benefits unfold.